Okay, guys, welcome back. Today we're looking at the topic that they say you're never meant to, two topics you're never meant to get into, discussing company as politics and religion. But I'll actually show you now why politics and religion are very, very important. Very important, because whoever shapes politics, they can shape laws and they can make a lot of different things happen. And the laws will affect you, whether you like it or not. Let's dive in.
If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up.
If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked, they're gone.
That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before.
Even as we are a nation of immigrants, we're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws.
Now, the way they're attacking ICE now and attacking Trump for deporting people, you wouldn't believe what these guys would have said. But that's why when it comes to politics, guys, we have to really know what we're talking about and dive in deeply and do some research. Because you can't just watch the news, watch the media and think you know what's going on, because they're deceivers. Malcolm X said, that the media can make the innocent look guilty and the guilty look innocent. The media are wicked. That's why to be honest, I don't look at regular news. I don't look at MSNBC, CNN, BBC, none of them, because I know it's pure deception. One of the keys to actually understand what's going on, if a news organization can't define what a woman is, I don't want to hear from them, because as far as I'm concerned, they're liars and deceivers.
Listen to what this guy says, because it's proving to be absolutely true. Watch. I made two separate videos before the election. One of the videos said I was going to vote for Kamala Harris. The other video said I was going to vote for Donald Trump. And I just wanted to see the mixed reactions from people and how people would react, because I do a lot of work from my hometown, do a lot of work from my community. I work with young boys. And I never said who I was voting for. But I made those two videos because I wanted to show people how they are in reality. I made the Donald Trump video and I made the Kamala Harris video. Under the Kamala Harris video, you definitely had some Trump supporters like, well, we understand that you may have a different opinion or whatever, but we still support what you do. Maybe you'll wake up one day, etc., etc. You know, things like that. It wasn't nothing vile, wasn't no bad comments or nothing. I made the Donald Trump video. I got people that unfollow me. I got people saying they can't support nothing I do no more. I got folk calling me all types of names, etc., etc. But what's crazy is all of the Kamala Harris supporters have become what they accuse Trump supporters of being. When you say you support Donald Trump, y'all be ready to kill him. Y'all ready to burn them at the stake. You call them all types of names. You unfollow them. You don't care what they're doing for their community. Nothing. If you support Trump, F you, I hate you so much, etc., etc. But all the people under the post, all the Trump supporters, when I said I was going to vote for Kamala, it was all love anyway. They was like, well, we still support what you're doing. We still gonna donate. We still love the work, even though you don't have to support Donald Trump, etc., etc. So I've only received hate from the people that call themselves the tolerant side, the side that's supposed to be about love, the side that's not about hate. But it's crazy because anytime somebody doesn't agree with you, all you spew is hate. All you give is hate. So it's funny how everybody who call themselves Democrats, you have turned into what you accuse the Republicans of being.
It's amazing. It's amazing. We got to look at scriptures again. First John 4:20, it says, if a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he can see, how can he love God who he can't see? It's crazy. We live in a crazy time. The media has done such a powerful job in getting people to hate Donald Trump. And anyone who consumes regular media sources will hate him because that's what's in the media. And that's their main focus. As I said, I don't watch regular news or regular TV. A few months ago, for some reason, I was sitting down, because what I do, on my TV, if I watch anything, it's normally YouTube. I look at different documentaries and things like this, or like Christian movies and these kind of things. Even if I'm looking at Netflix, I will do a lot of research before I click on it, because I know a lot of this stuff has got all kind of debauchery and nastiness in it. So for some reason, I sat down and watched the news for a few minutes, just watching the news. The news clip had nothing to do with Trump. And at the end of the clip, they had a joke about Trump, and I'm thinking, these people are crazy. So the whole news clip got nothing to do with Trump, but at the end, they're running a joke demeaning Trump. So what it is, that's why when you're watching regular media, basically you're saying to Satan, affect my mind, put strongholds into my mind. Because when you're watching the regular media, you're actually building, Satan is building strongholds in your mind. That's why they call it programming. That's why I don't watch it, because I know they're wicked. And the issue was what's happening as well is that a lot of people are voting on their feelings, especially black people. So what they do, what the people that do control the media do, if they've got someone that is going against their narrative, their worldview, and they're white, they paint them as racist. And they will take news clips and deceptively edit them to make them sound like they're racist. So anytime you hear anything about that person, now you're 150% sure they're racist. And because of that, you won't listen to what they say.
She just dropped the nuke on every Trump hater out there.
Donald Trump wasn't accused of being a racist prior to his run for office. Donald Trump was at the Michael Jackson trial with him every single day. Donald Trump ran with some of everybody, Diddy, 50 Cent. He's on the Wu-Tang Clan album. You know, this is the same Donald Trump that when Jennifer Hudson's family was murdered, he put her up for 6 months, you know, in Trump Tower. This is the same Trump that sent his private jet, you know, all the way over to get Nelson Mandela when he was released from prison. This is the same Trump that released 3,100 people from prison, you know, in one day, July 19, 2019. I mean, if that's the type of racism we have to deal with, I'll take it.
If that's the type of racism we got to deal with, I'll take it. I like that. So what it is, they're not telling you what's really going on. The whole thing to do Donald Trump is, before he ran for political office as a Republican, he was okay. He was the man. But from the time he's turned himself into a Republican, literally all hell has broken loose against him. That's what's gone on. All hell has broken loose against him. But I hope you watch this whole thing to the end, because I've got a lot of clips there that showed you what is really going on.
43% of Americans now live in states where you're free to marry who you love. The NFL drafted its first openly gay player. Harvey Milk got a stamp. Laverne Cox was on the cover of Time. Coca-Cola and Honey Maid were unafraid to sell their products in commercials showing same-sex parents and their children. And perhaps most importantly, Mitch and Cam got married, which caused Michelle and the girls to cry.
So there we have it, guys. As I said, because I do my research, I would never vote for Mr. Obama, President Obama, in a million years. Because he could black as he wants. I'm not voting for him. Because I vote with policies. I don't vote with colour. If it's maybe it's F1 and there's one black driver who Lewis Hamilton, I might go with the brother. But politics, listen, we cannot go by our feelings. Because I'm telling you straight, God's going to hold us accountable. If we're voting with our feelings and we're voting people in and agreeing to wickedness, we're agreeing to wickedness. And he's there bragging about he brought in this gay marriage and all these gay accomplishments. Remember what the Bible says? The Bible says no man shall not lie for man as he does it for a woman, and a woman shall not lie for a woman as she does it for a man. So that might be acceptable to these people, but if we're believers, we have to realize that God has got the highest authority, and God is not smiling on this. He's not smiling on this at all.
Obama did it, and it's disgusting. It's a disgusting lie. Let's play it.
Said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides. I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists. Okay?
See, that's crazy. I have never seen that last part of it
because the news has said that lie over and over and over and over.
This is why I don't watch news on regular news or regular TV. Even most average films I don't watch, because they're teaching you perversion and lies and deception. And the problem is, you're sitting there, and that's why people are. I get people try to argue with me, and they don't know what they're talking about. They've got no clue. They've done no research, but they're ill in their feelings and they're getting angry. They don't need to get angry. Jesus said, "Buy the truth and sell it not." The most important thing on earth is the truth. We need to know what's really going on, and what we're voting for, and what our thought patterns are, and where our thought patterns come from. This is why serious guys, we got to run from the regular media, run with your life from these people, because they're liars and perverts and deceivers. And what they do, they'll get you agreeing with it. And to make it even worse, so many pastors and church leaders are not talking about this stuff. So because you're not hearing it on a Sunday, and the rest of the week you're sitting down with this media talk gun into your mind, you're listening to BBC, you're listening to LBC, you're watching CNN, they're all liars and perverts. So how are they going to help you become holy and righteous and come to closer to God? They're not going to help you. So just 1.5 hour service on a Sunday is not washing it. You can't have a 1.5 hour service on a Sunday and then you're watching Netflix 4 or 5 hours a night, or BBC, or listen to LBC 2-3 hours a day. Because they're going to pervert your mind. They're totally against God.
This is what's happening in our country because of Donald Trump. And understand, he is not done. As a part of his agenda, he and his allies would limit access to birth control, ban medication abortion, and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress. And get this, he plans to create a national anti-abortion coordinator and force states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions. Simply put, they are out of their minds.
So they're out of their minds. So Donald Trump wants to put a curb as much as he can on abortion. And listen, remember what abortion is. Let's stop joking about it. This is murdering the baby. Forget what all these people say. Oh, it's women's reproductive. What reproductive rights? You're murdering a baby. Remember, if we're not believers, kill all the babies you want. But if you're naming Christ and saying that you love God and you are ambassador of God and God's kingdom, you should know this is wickedness. This is wickedness. It says, I said earlier on, in Proverbs 6 and 17, God hates a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. Yeah, and just remember, if you think abortion's all right, what kind of Christian are you? If you think murdering a baby is okay, what kind of Christian are you? You best be careful, because what's going to happen? That's the line you're going along in your life, you're going to come before God at Judgment Day. And listen, I think you might more than likely you're going to hear, "Depart from me, ye that work iniquity." You can't think abortion's okay and vote for these people and think you and God is okay. It's not going to work. It's not going to work, my friend. Sorry, it's not going to work at all.
Amen. Preach.
You ready for this one? This is for your deeper audience.
Come on.
Let me tell you something. When I knew this man was being used by God, in his first term, I don't know if you remember this, the witches, the warlocks, and the abortionists all came together. And this is what they said, I quote, "We are asking everyone in the United States to join us on Facebook Live as we cast curses on the President of the United States and all who support him."
Wow.
It was a Facebook Live. It was nationwide. Told my wife, I said, let's see how stupid the preachers are on this one. Because the last time I checked, Jesus said Satan will never attack his own.
Come on now.
That's what Jesus said. And Jesus ain't never wrong.
Never.
So if he said Satan will never cast out Satan, he will never attack his own, and then the people who represent Satan are attacking Trump, and then somewhere you got to ask the question is, well, maybe this Trump man is not of Satan.
Oh my gosh.
See, but they don't think like that. They don't know how to think. They just go with their emotions, and they go with their arrogance and their pride. Everybody thinks that they know what they're talking about.
So if the witches and the warlocks and Satanists and abortionists are coming together and praying and fasting against Trump and against all his supporters, that should tell you something. Now, this is what this next clip is gold, because all you people that think Google and all these different people here are friends, this should wake you up, because they cannot be the arbiter of truth in your life. Check this out.
Alexa, why should I vote for Trump?
I cannot provide responses that endorse any political party or its leader.
Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
While there are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, the most significant may be that she is a female of color with a comprehensive plan to address racial injustice and inequality throughout the country.
Sounds crazy. Look at that. Some people, they're going to Google in different places, Alexa, think you're going to get truth. There's no truth for these people. You have to have a barometer for truth, and our barometer is the Bible. You've got the plumb line, and the plumb line is the Bible. But not just that, we have to have an understanding. You must have an understanding of how to discern what is truth in media. Yeah, they're not your friends. They are liars and perverts. That's what they are. So just understand who you're dealing with. That's all stuff apart from William Wilberforce. That's all stuff to do with America. Now we're in the UK now. We're in a situation where we got, and it's happening all over the world. Anywhere you get a lot of Muslims, the Muslim rape gangs are happening. And now we got this guy, Rupert Lowe. He started his own party, and just listen to what he says a bit about what happened.
Our independent rape gang inquiry hearings are ongoing, just a short walk from this chamber. Last week, I sat opposite one woman who was raped by between 600 and 700 men. She estimated that 98% were Pakistani Muslims. The evidence we are collecting is brutal. Again and again, we've been told of failed attempts to traffic raped and abused women overseas to Pakistan and elsewhere. Thankfully, those attempts failed. How many did not? Will the Minister agree to urgently review cases of missing girls in target areas and launch a full state investigation into reports of such trafficking?
Justice Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, the testimony of the victims that the Honourable Gentleman has heard from is absolutely horrifying, and the grooming gang scandal was one of the darkest moments in this country's history. Victims and survivors of these hideous crimes deserve justice, and we will make sure they get it. Our inquiry is a full, statutory, independent inquiry with all of the powers under the Inquiries Act 2005 to deliver justice, and I would urge him and anybody else with any allegations of criminality or evidence of criminality to share that with the police.
Now, this one subject, if a politician in the UK in charge of a party, if this was part of their agenda to deal with this, to investigate this and deal with this, they're not serious. And I'll tell you, you shouldn't be voting for them, because if they're gonna cover up rape and torture and human trafficking, sex trafficking, why are you voting for them? These people are wicked. They're wicked. When I say they're wicked, they're wicked. And look at all the different parties they're playing games. Even Reform, what's his name? Nigel Farage is playing games. He's not serious about this. And just remember what they do. If you're white and you go against the grain, they label you a racist. They label you a racist. And the problem, because people don't do research, whatever the media says is what the media go with. We can't be like simple little children. We've got to do some research and go to other news sources. One news source you can get is called Ground News. And what they do, they actually look at news sources and they'll show you where different news comes from. And they'll show you, is it right-wing newspapers doing it, or outlets, is it left-wing, and who's reported on this specific story. You have to do research. We can't sit down and just take everything at face value, especially as parents or grandparents, because if we don't know what's going on, our kids don't stand a chance.
If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about, and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns are blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. These are cherished people. These are great people. Leave them alone. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast before it's too late. If they don't, there's going to be hell to pay.
So there's President Trump threatening the Nigerian government. If they don't protect the Christians, he's going to have to go over there and send his troops in there to deal with it himself. And the problem is most secular and mainstream news agencies, they won't report this. Because the Christians being killed, big deal. They don't care. They couldn't care less.
This is just sad, man. How many immigrants, illegal immigrants, did Barack Obama deport in his 8 years as president?
Oh, I don't know.
Have a guess.
No clue.
No clue. Interesting, right? You don't know.
I mean, I know it was a lot, but I don't know the exact number.
Have a guess.
Oh, I don't know.
The answer is over 3 million. Damn. He was known as deporter-in-chief by Mexicans.
Yes. And that was more than Trump did.
He deported way more than Trump. He deported way more pro rata than any president in history. Who dropped the most bombs in a calendar year in American history?
Oh, come on. President Barack Obama.
Barack Obama, right? Including drone programs and so on, right? Who got elected in 08-09 on shutting down Guantanamo Bay? Because as a former lawyer, he believed it was an illegal institution.
President Barack Obama.
Yeah. What is still open today?
Guantanamo Bay.
Correct, right? Etc., etc., etc. So I know that the general thing is Obama, angel, Trump, devil.
Right.
But if you actually apply the scrutiny that we give Trump, put it this way, if Trump had deported 3 million people, you think you guys wouldn't know that answer? Of course you would.
Disgusting. The deception is crazy. And now, you know, all over America, you've got pure people attacking and really on the offensive against ICE. And they're not doing anything different to what you saw earlier on, than what Barack Obama was doing, than what Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton were doing. They were all, as I said, Barack Obama deported 3 million people. I think at the moment, Trump's up to about 600,000. But because it's Trump, it's bad, it's shocking, it's evil. And that's why, listen, guys, stop watching this regular media. Forget CNN, LBC, BBC, stop watching it. It's evil. You get your head around it, it's evil. And for you to turn that on and listen to it, you are agreeing with evil. And one of the issues is, as well, because women are more easily led by their feelings. If I'll give you a quick example, I supply bodyguards. We had a client that they had real estate. One of their clients had a property, a flat, that there's a tenant in there that hadn't paid rent for over a year. So they'd be trying to do different things, different ways. They weren't able to do it. So they wanted a bodyguard. Bodyguard went down there, and we made sure the bodyguard explained to them that the bodyguard can't get involved with evicting anybody, but the bodyguard can be there to protect the owner of the flat. So what happened? The owner's friend got into the flat, dragged the guy out. It was summer, so I think he was in some type of shorts and vest or t-shirt, and he actually went out. They dragged him out. He got out, and then the police were called. The police came, and while the guy was downstairs, so he was talking to one or two women, and of course he gave them a sob story, some kind of sob story, why he got evicted, where he got thrown out the flat. But they don't know the man's been in the flat for a year. I mean, how angry would you be if you had a flat you had a tenant and they was in your property for a year. I tell you, if I was a Christian, they'll have about a month and a half. I'll drag them out myself. So they was in there over a year, not paying anything. So they were dragged out, and because of the women heard what happened, they're down there taking pictures of the bodyguard and the owner of the flat and so forth. So basically, so in their mind, they've already, because they heard something, they're going with it. They're not asking questions, but they're taking pictures, taking video footage, thinking they're in the right, thinking, oh, this poor man, look what they've done to him. So one of the issues that women are more easily led by their feelings.
Black women are voting for the Democrats because they have allowed them to usurp Black leadership in our community, male leadership. And so they get a reinforcement from the media, they get reinforcement from the Democrat Party, and so they are easily manipulated into voting for Democrats. And that's where the spiritual element comes in. The Bible says, see to it that no one takes you captive through philosophy, empty deceptions, according to the traditions of men and the elementary principles of the world, rather than according to Jesus Christ. Colossians chapter 2, verse 8.
That's sad. That's sad. And also, what what's happened, you got a lot of, especially some of the Black churches, they're not even preaching a proper gospel. They've got a gospel of their main thing, their gospel is color, someone's color. When I see people like this, Jamal Bryant and a lot of these other people, I'm thinking, you people, listen, I want to stay in their church for 1 second, mate. When you're telling me you're voting and you're promoting rights for women's reproductive health, murdering babies is not reproductive health. Please wake up, man. Wake up. If your preacher ain't gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you. That is not reproductive health. That's murdering your own offspring. And the reason people are murdering their own offspring is because they're having sex outside of God's parameters. If you're married, you don't need to be worried about should you keep or get rid of a baby. Have sex in marriage and you won't be stressing yourself if you get married pregnant.
Check out this Black pastor's story of the first time he met Uncle Trump. Media won't show you this. Mainstream media, Communist News Network, BS Now, aka MS Now, they won't show you this stuff. So, of course, I will.
President Trump wants to come to your church. I'm like, yeah, right. What are you talking about? Yeah, okay, come on. So they sent over an agreement. I don't even read it. I sign it because I'm thinking it's a joke. I signed a little venue agreement. On a Monday, he comes. His team comes. Well, half of the people look like me. I'm thinking, these kids, you're with Trump? What? We're in the hood. I mean, you got to think about it. Look, you have the hood, and then you have the hood. You understand what I'm saying? In our community, you don't stop for gas. It's just terrible.
And the Holy Ghost right in the middle of all that.
Right in the middle of it, in the midst of darkness, there shines a great light. I mean, I'm in Detroit. It's a Democratic stronghold. We haven't had a Republican mayor in 60 years. I don't think a Republican has come to Detroit since President Trump. Friday, the campaign says, by the way, Pastor, we want you to be a part of a roundtable. I don't even know what they're doing. Nothing was pre-programmed. Nothing was planned. He comes in, the most authentic person. Because in my community, when older white men get around Black people from my community, because it's so polarized, not like the South, to President Trump, he wanted to be around Black people, and Black people, they could tell, they know that. That he wasn't socially awkward. Then he says, will you pray for me? People were yelling his name. So I'm a preacher. I'm in my church. I'm sitting there. They're chanting Trump. I said, hold on for a second, guys. We don't even chant Jesus like that. We gotta be careful around here. They're chanting his name. They literally sang happy birthday to him. It was unreal. I thought maybe there would have been a couple Black people there. We have about 400 people there. Our church sits about 600. We have 400 people there. 70% were Black. The media, the lying media, I never thought the media would lie. They said it was nothing but all white people there. They just lied. It was crazy. He said, Pastor, why don't you pray for me? And I just prayed for him. Pray for protection.
You prayed for protection.
These people can lie, man. Seriously.
Did you see that video? No. It's bananas.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem.
Here it comes.
But you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere.
Wait for it.
He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for a friend.
What did he say?
Malcolm X says, Let me tell you what he said. He said that media can make the innocent look guilty and guilty look innocent. They're wicked. Stop sitting down and consuming the regular media. They're liars. They're liars. And what they're going to do, they build up strongholds in your mind that you think is the truth, and it's pure deception.
So this is CNN, okay? When this was posted, Abby had to explain this, okay? It'll come up here in a minute. Just press play. CNN forced to post the truth and how Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago for being. Watch this.
Mar-a-Lago often made house calls to Jeffrey Epstein's home 2 miles away. But those house calls, quote, came to a halt in 2003 after an 18-year-old beautician returned to the club from a house call to Epstein and reported to managers that he had pressured her for sex. The HR manager faxed Trump a letter suggesting that the club ban Epstein, and Trump agreed, which does mirror the president's own public comments about why he cut ties with Epstein. The White House is responding to the Wall Street Journal, writing, no matter how many times this story is told and retold, the truth remains, President Trump did nothing wrong, and he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep.
He cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein long before Epstein became a convicted sex offender. A lot of Democrats did, and it is corroborated by the Wall Street Journal
On
tonight.
August 24th, 1759, in Kingston upon Hull, England, Wilberforce's family was quite wealthy, and as a young man, Wilberforce lived a carefree life full of drinking and gambling. Seeking distinction, he sought and won political office as a member of the British Parliament at the age of 21. In 1785, he read Philip Doddridge's Rise and Progress of Religion in the Soul. The book had a profound impact on Wilberforce's life. He embraced evangelical Christianity, lost interest in card games and drinking, began to get up early to read the Bible, and decided to commit his future life to work in the service of God and social reform. Guided by Christian ethics, Wilberforce began to play an active role in the abolitionist movement in 1786. In 1787, he wrote in his diary that God had set before him the objective of suppressing the slave trade. A group of evangelical abolitionists known as the Clapham Sect soon acknowledged Wilberforce as their leader. Throughout the 1790s and early 1800s, he introduced countless anti-slavery bills in the British House of Commons. Though supported by the Prime Minister William Pitt and philosopher Edmund Burke, Wilberforce's measures failed. Ever resilient, Wilberforce strategically pushed a bill to end the slave trade with French colonies. The bill passed and paved the way for the complete abolition of the slave trade in 1807.
Amen. Just remember one thing, when he talks about he was like an evangelical Christian, he's not one of these woke Christians who anything goes. He's not one of these like these, even like some of these Catholics and so forth, not these people. A lot of these people, a lot of the things, that anything goes whatsoever. He was based on the scriptures. That's why he saw that he had to love his fellow man as himself. That's why he was behind stopping slavery. So he wasn't no wishy-washy Christian.
As he grew older, and despite his failing health, Wilberforce continued to campaign for the rights of slaves. He died on July 29, 1833, 3 days after the Slavery Abolition Act was passed by the British House of Commons. William Wilberforce played a central role in the struggle against slavery, ultimately alleviating the suffering and affirming the dignity of millions of former slaves. For that reason, William Wilberforce is undeniably a hero of progress.
Now, that is a true hero. They got all kind of different people they're called heroes. This is a real hero. I'm amazed that he's not on one of the banknotes for the Great Britain. Quite amazed, to be honest. Also remember that it was people like him was behind the founding of the NHS, schools, orphanages, even looking after the welfare of animals. Guys, well, if you got this far, you've done well. I know some of the stuff here is really triggering to people that consume the regular media, but I say I'm not here looking friends. I'm here to spread the gospel of Lord Jesus Christ and to open up people's eyes to what's really going on. And when it comes to politics, we have to be very, very careful and tread very carefully and tread wisely and with discernment. Because if we don't tread wisely with discernment, we're going to be voting for Satan and his people. Remember, in Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1 to 2, it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside judgment from the needy, and to take away the right of the poor of my people. Just remember, they've brought in things like gay marriage. Can you imagine, they brought in a law that 2 men can get married. Get married and do what? What? That's confusion from the jump. And then you got all this transgender, this transgender. Another thing Trump did, he cut all the money for the transgender surgeries in the military, and he run them out of the military. It's confused people. They need help. They don't need persecution, but they need help. Guys, thank you so much for watching and spending time with me today. If you don't agree with me, please comment and tell me why I'm wrong. If you do agree with me, give me a like, give me a nice comment. I'll read all the comments. And if you think this is something useful, please send it to other people. May God bless you and he keep you, and may his face shine upon you. Take care. Thank you for listening.